we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Wake Up to Ultimate Freedom Success Code. My name is Natalie and I'll be here supporting our host Katie throughout this week. This week has been amazing so far and I can't wait for all of the great stuff we have coming up in the next couple days. So make sure to stay tuned for all of those. Now, before we bring on Katie, I do want to just go over some housekeeping items and just take care of some general things. Starting with workbooks. Now, if you don't already have a workbook, just feel free to type down below the word workbook, and we will make sure to send you the link so that you can get registered and get one. It's really important that you use your workbook that they've put together for you so that you can stay involved and interact and really get all you can out of this week. And speaking of interaction and involvement, we want you to be involved and interact with your peers in the comments. So feel free to introduce yourself. Feel free to ask any questions and make any comments at all. We love hearing any feedback that you have. But in order for us to see your name and for us to acknowledge you during the live, you will need to just give StreamYard permission to put your name in StreamYard. There's a link in the group feed and I believe also in the description of the live. Just click on it and give StreamYard permission to show your name. That way, whenever Katie is speaking during her live, she can acknowledge you and answer any questions or respond to any comments that you may have. Now, we do have a lot of really fun prizes for all of the interactive and involved members in the comments. So the more you comment and the more questions you ask, the more you interact, the more your name will be added into a draw for the prize at the end of today's live. Now, I'm really excited for today's prize, but I can't share that with you until the end. So just know that you're definitely going to want to be interacting because it's going to be a great prize. Now, also, speaking of prizes, it's not too late to invite your family and friends into the group in order to enter the draw for a $50 Amazon gift card that will be announced in tomorrow's live. But with that being said, I am a huge Amazon fan. I talk about this every single day, but I love Amazon, and I hope you all do too because this is an amazing prize. So definitely feel free to invite any friends and family, have them join the lives, have them interact as well. So I'm really excited for everything that we've got, and with all of that being said and all of the housekeeping items taken care of, let's go ahead and bring on our host, Katie.
Thank you again, Natalie. Hello, everybody. Hello. I hope you are all having an amazing day so far. I know I am. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I would love some interaction as well again today. I want to ask a couple questions that you can just kind of put in the chat just to kind of shake things up a bit. I'll get to it in a second, but before I do, I just want to say most people want freedom. Right? Most of us want to have freedom in our life, to live life on our terms and our way. But the truth of the matter is less than 5% of the population have freedom. Why is that? Why is it that only less than 5% of the population have freedom and that most people will not be able to ever experience it? They absolutely can, but the reality is, based on past experience, most won't. So I just want you to think about that for a sec, but now I want to ask a couple questions. You can put in the chat. What does snow feel like in your hand? What does it feel like? Let's put it in the chat for me. Another question I have is, what color are the leaves on a palm tree? What color are the leaves on a palm tree? Another question that I have for you, there's about a 30-second delay. That's why I'm doing it like this. So hopefully by the time I get this out, I can start seeing the answers. Imagine that you are slicing a lemon in half, and you've taken the lemon and you've squeezed it and smelt it. What does it smell like? I'm seeing from Tamara, she says the snow is cold, wet, somewhat granular. Yeah. John says that the color of the leaves are green. That's right, absolutely. Tamara says green. Let's see here. Cold from John. Yeah, yeah. Kim says cold, wet. Absolutely, absolutely. Now tell me what your mind looks like. Tamara says complex, fresh, invigorating. Now, when I asked you these questions about the leaves, about the snow, I'm pretty confident that an image appeared on the screen of your mind. Thinking about snow, instantly, an image appears on the screen of your mind. The lemon, instantly, a picture appears on the screen of your mind of a yellow lemon being sliced in half, and the trees, the palm trees, right? Because as humans, we think in pictures. And when I asked, that's right, John. John says, no one has seen a picture of the mind. You know it. You know it. What the mind looks like, there was a bit of a hesitancy there because that's right, John. No one's ever seen the mind, right? And that's really one of the biggest problems out there is that because we think in pictures, and one of the most important things in our life, our minds, we don't have an image and we think in pictures. And so there was a doctor in San Antonio, Texas, way back in, I think, 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet, who understood this. And he said that at the time, which it's still prevalent today, he said, we have a problem in the healing arts because, we're here treating people physically instead of treating the root cause, right? And until we get to the root cause and treat the person, there aren't going to be any permanent changes in anyone's life. And he said, but the issue is because we think in pictures, there's confusion. And so what this doctor said was, I am going to draw an image of the mind to sort of bring chaos to order. And so this is what he did. One second here. This is what you call the stick person. And this is what Dr. Thurman Fleet drew. I know when I first showed this to my kids, they laughed. They thought it was so funny. They just thought it was looked so silly for me to say, here's a picture of the mind. But this is what he did to sort of get us to understand. And so he said, let the larger circle represent the mind and let the smaller circle represent the body. And then he said, I'm going to draw a line through the center of the mind. Now, before I go into that, I just want to clarify that mind is in every cell of the body, right? The body is an instrument of the mind. Mind is movement, but this is what he did because we think in pictures. He just wants you to look at it this way so that you can understand, but don't get it twisted. Mind is in every cell of our bodies. So we'll draw a center across the top of the mind, and we'll say that the top half of the mind is the conscious mind. And so like I was telling you guys yesterday, the conscious mind is the part of the mind where we gather all the information, right? We've got the ability to accept or reject whatever comes into it. This part of the mind is both inductive and deductive, right? And then the bottom half, let's say it's the subconscious mind, and then of course the smaller circle is the body. And so, as I mentioned before, that the subconscious mind has no ability to reject whatever it is that is impressed upon it. So once you accept something consciously and get emotionally involved in that, it gets impressed on the subconscious. The subconscious has just nothing to do but to act. Now, like I said before, it cannot tell from something from real versus imagined. It has no ability to tell anything that is big versus small. It can't tell the difference. It simply executes on whatever it is given. Good morning, Deborah. Nice to see you. And so what many people do is, and I mentioned this again, is they live by these sensory factors, what they can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. And so we've got these little antennae sticking up here, which represents how we sort of interact with the outside world. And so when most people are living their lives, they sort of go based solely on this. If you want to accomplish freedom, you can't just rely on what's going on around you. You've got to tap into the higher faculties. Now, we have higher faculties that allow us to create our own life. 6 of them: the imagination, will, reason, intuition, memory, and perception. But what happens is many of us, well, most of us are not taught about these higher faculties. And so we are conditioned to live according to all that we can see, smell, hear, taste, and touch. How you doing, Jan? Good to see you. We let the outside world control us. We go to school. In fact, when we go to school, the only higher faculty that we actually ever use there is memory. You know, in school, as long as you can memorize and get good grades, you're winning, according to what they say, right? You're getting a passing grade if you can get those good grades. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to pass in life, right? Because it doesn't matter how much education one has, that's not the part of the mind that gets the body to act, right? You can gather all the information, but if the subconscious mind isn't the one that's in control, if you're not impressing it on the subconscious, it's not going to do you any good. And so the nature of us is the same, right? We have different behavioral systems. And so when you look at different people and you see that some people are winning and some people aren't, you can take 2 people in the same company doing the same thing. One person's doing amazing and the other person is just struggling. And it's why? Well, it's about their conditioning. It's about the conditioning. It's about what you are internalizing, what you're thinking about. Whatever we put on the subconscious mind gets impressed. We have the ability to accept or to reject. But what happens is most people, because they're not aware of it, they just allow anything into their mind, and they're not really thinking. They're not really thinking. As a child in school, you get a report card, and that report card will say, this particular child has a D. And so the child goes home, they show their parents the report card. The parents look at the report card and they judge the child based on that. And the teachers judge the child based on that report card. Now, the report card is showing you where that child was at that moment in time. It has actually no bearing on what their potential is. But the thing that we do is we judge them based on that, which is completely wrong, right? And I can tell you that I can completely relate to this because my daughter, my first daughter, she's 22 now. I had her when I was, I had her at 22. I was a single mother at the time, and I did not have the information that I have now. And I had her at 7 months. She was a preemie, and she developed some delays, they said, because of it. And they diagnosed her with what is called global developmental delay. And they told me that she would never amount to anything further than about a 12-year-old. And I accepted that because these were experts. I mean, they were doctors, and this is what they've told me, and I didn't know any better. And of course, I judged her based on that, right? And I was always trying to protect her. I was so concerned and so worried about her well-being, about her future. What is going to become of her when I'm no longer around? I mean, if she's not going to be able to function at a level that where she's able to take care of herself, that caused me a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, fear. If I had known then what I knew now, things would have been much different, but I was operating in ignorance. I didn't know. And so, not realizing it, I took my fears, my worries, my anxieties. Not only was I judging her based on this, but I was impressing all of that upon her precious subconscious mind. And basically giving her a habit of fear, unbeknownst to me, of course. And knowing the material that I know now, I am pretty confident that if I had known then what I know now, and I applied the choice of refusing what they had told me, things would have been much different. Because I could have said, you know what, that isn't serving me, that isn't serving her. I don't accept that, and just outright refuse it. I've had her taken to specialist upon specialist. They've done blood work. They've done a lot of checks. Everything comes back normal. There's nothing in her blood that shows that there's anything wrong. And so I'm pretty convinced that I contributed to her delays with my own fears and anxieties. Now, I've accepted that happened. I don't live in regret. I don't blame myself anymore because I did the best that I could. I mean, I loved her. I was trying to protect her, but I just didn't know, right? But now that I know better, I'm doing better now. But that's the thing, like sometimes it doesn't matter what your intentions are. If you're ignorant, the damage is still real, right? Everybody has perfection locked up within them. But this is what Einstein says. Everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. And this is what happens. We judge our kids based on a report card that is showing something for a brief moment. And then that report card, when we get older, turns into the balance sheet at work, the sales sheet. It turns into our bank account. And we start judging ourselves based on that. We look at where we're at and we base our life based on that. And it's wrong. It's wrong. So this is a baby, right? When I showed you before the conscious mind, a baby doesn't actually have a conscious mind. All the baby has is a subconscious mind. So everything that's going on around that baby just gets dumped right into it, right into the subconscious mind. Other people's fears, other people's anxieties, other people's limiting beliefs, all of this goes right into that baby's mind. And when it continues over and over and over and over again, it begins to form their habits and beliefs. And that's how language is learned as well, through the repetition. The truth of the matter is that each and every one of us have a power that's flowing into our consciousness. It flows to and through us. It never stops. And we have the ability to think. And when you understand how this process works, this is where you can ignite the true you, because you can really understand how the subconscious mind operates and begin to use it to your advantage and begin to win. And so you can say, listen, I'm going to start doing things differently. I'm going to reach for my dream. I'm going to reach for my goal. But in order to do that, you got to change your thinking. You got to change your belief system. You must be willing to change if you want changes in your life. And so Einstein says, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created it. Just want you to reflect on that for a moment. And so let's go back to that dream. We've made the decision that we're going to think differently. We're going to take that dream, we're going to convert that dream, and we're going to impress it onto the subconscious mind. Whatever you impress on the subconscious mind is what gives you the results that you want in your life. And so this power that's flowing to and through us, we decide we're going to execute this dream of ours. We think about this dream. We get emotionally involved in the dream. As we get emotionally involved, our vibration changes. And as our vibration changes, our actions change. And as our actions change, the circumstances, conditions, environment from the universe reacts to that. And it's an action-reaction that gets us our results. This is how it works. And sometimes it's so much easier to put an image to it so that you can understand how it operates. Whatever the mind can conceive and cause itself to believe, it can achieve. That's what Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich. But if you are constantly thinking about lack and limitation, you know, the subconscious mind can only entertain one thought at a time. And so if your focus is on the negative polarity, lack, limitation, that's what you're going to realize in your life. That's what you're going to see. Andrew Carnegie says, any idea that's held in the mind and emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient form available. What are you spending your time thinking about all day? What are you thinking about? Are your thoughts lining up to what it is that you want? They have to, if you want to realize freedom. So that's what I want to leave with you today. You become what you think about. Your body is an instrument of the mind. It's simply a manifestation of what you've been thinking. I've got a lot of quotes popping up in my head right now because there's so many greats that have such wonderful things to say. James Allen, in As a Man Thinketh, he says, he thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but our looking glass. What are you thinking about? And so what I want from you today is to just start paying attention to your thoughts. And ask yourself, are these thoughts in line with where it is I want to go? And if it isn't, reject it, because you can do that. You can absolutely do that. That's it for today, guys. I'm going to pass it over to Natalie. I want to wish you an amazing rest of your day and stay blessed.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm so glad that I was able to be here today once again. I hope everybody enjoyed. Now, I'm going to start off by going over today's homework, which is for you to answer just one question. It's a simple question, but it can have a lot more of a deeper meaning, and I think that's the whole purpose of it, is for you to look beyond the surface and think a little deeper. So the question for you to answer is, who are you and who do you need to become? And once again, today it just hit me in ways I didn't know I needed. I even remember a conversation I was having with Katie prior to the live even starting, and it just felt like it went along really well with what I am dealing with in the moment. So I hope that y'all were able to take something from it as well and feel it as deeply as I did. So, that being said, let's move into the prize. Oh, I love the prize. This is my favorite part of the day. Okay, so for today's prize, y'all know I was super excited for this because it is such an amazing prize. Well, now I can tell you what it is, and it is a free coaching call with Katie. So, that's the prize for today, and I haven't been doing this, but I thought it'd be fun for me to actually show you guys like my little draw. I've been just like picking it beforehand, but as you can see, we have plenty of entries. Y'all are very interactive, and I love it. I love seeing all the comments come through and everybody interact and get involved. So I'm gonna go through, pick my little thingy. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And, oh, can y'all see that? Oh, Tamara Taylor, you must be on a winning streak, but you won a coaching call with Katie. I hope that you can benefit from that. And don't forget, everybody, tomorrow being the prize that is going to be drawn off is actually the $50 Amazon gift card for people that are inviting friends and family. So remember to invite as many friends and family as you can so that you can enter this draw and hopefully be the next lucky winner. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that y'all enjoyed.